Louie knew he had been given so much, and it's as if he devoted his life to trying to be that for other people.
One of the things that stands out to me about Louie's vision of leadership is that leadership doesn't look the same for everyone. He believed that people had abilities and visions that could look radically different, but were necessary to solve problems, and he valued that different approach to leadership.
He would always give you things that we should be working on, so it wasn't just standing back and watching us do the work. Louie was leading the way, and he was always challenging us as a team to what can we do to make the program better? You know, where can we go next?
So one of the things I think of when I think of Louie is just how he epitomizes a lifelong learner. You never saw more of a gleam in his eye than when he was learning something, when he was doing something that was, you know, what's going to happen next.
He was probably the best listener that I have ever seen. He was slow to speak, but he always spoke. And if he spoke, you listened.
When people talk about Louie and they talk about the opportunities they had to go have breakfast with him on a regular basis, when I did it, I thought I was the only one doing that, and I think everybody does, because he made everything about you.
He had so many things going on in his life, but when you talked to him for those moments, he was present with you, and you were all he was thinking about.
I fondly remember many of my breakfasts with Louie, and he would sit intently across the breakfast table and listen to every word I had to say. He would soak it up. I was so honored that someone wanted to listen to what I had to say.
One of my favorite conversations with Louie is a conversation that occurred during a back and forth trip to Nashville. And on the way over, Mr. Gump pushed me to think bigger thoughts, to look at the institution not in its current form, but in a future state. And he knew the impact that we could have on the community if we were willing to make ourselves temporarily uncomfortable to realize the benefits that come from that growth process.
So Mr. Gump believed strongly that leadership matters. And to him, I think leadership is all about impact. Positive impact, making a difference in the lives of people, and communities, and the region and the world.
He saw the power of grown-ups coming behind teenagers and saying, I want to help you. And that was what the Roan Scholars Program was about for him. I think he saw it as a chance to be the spark in the lives of these young people. And look at what that has done.
So I think Mr. Gump inspired me the most by just the impact that he as one person has seemed to have on the lives of so many other students.
You know, I'm a first-generation college student, and had he not been the man that he was and be so giving and generous, you know, there's a chance I wouldn't be here.
Mr. Gump was one of the most caring, compassionate people that I think I've ever met, and I hope to be able to make my patients feel the same way that he made me feel.
When I think of the Roan program, I think of not just the impact that it's had on me, but the exponential impact that it's had on each and every person in this region who's impacted by the scholars themselves.
Being a Roan Scholar means personalized guidance, support, networking, and resources, all to better serve my community.
When I was first selected to be a Roan Scholar, and just a few days after I personally found out, I got a handwritten postcard from him of Roan Mountain just welcoming me into the program. And that just meant a lot that he was already so invested in the freshmen.
It always struck me that Louie didn't even think to try to get attention for what he was doing.
He always put the needs of the students first. And over my lifetime, I've had the privilege to work and serve with many leaders, but none that was as involved with a program as Louie was.
I know that people think that the Roan Scholars gain so much from Louie, and they do. He's a great mentor. But I think if you had asked Louie, he got just as much or more from the Roan Scholars. He was always interested in what was going on. He always wanted to know something new. He was always learning what was happening in the world through these scholars.
If you got to know that man and you had a chance to know that man, he made you a better person.